It's your boy Solar Legion, and up here today. It's been a while since I've done one of these sort of update videos, just talking a little bit about what's been playing, what's been going on, etc. I just want to start by saying physically, I'm still in a lot of freaking pain. Unfortunately, you know how it goes with these hospitals and stuff. You know, it's never a plain and simple direction. Um, there's a bit of a idea of what's going on. I've got a bit of clarity from the appointment that I had last week, a couple of days ago. So hopefully, moving forward, once I've had this scan done, hopefully, I'll have a bit of an understanding where I stand. I'm pretty much 95% positive that I know what's going on, because it's the same symptoms that my brothers and my dad and the rest of my family have had. So it's probably a hereditary thing going on here. Um, but yeah, so what I start by saying that, yeah, the new guys are doing pretty well. Had a bit of an issue with the tank a few weeks, last month or so, maybe about a month or two ago. They just wasn't happy, they just weren't happy. That's the thing with the fish, I've really picked up on my fish's behaviour, and that's something I can recommend to everyone who's looking at getting into fish keeping. And monitor your fish. Don't just have them in the background. Keep an eye on them. Look after them. They're living creatures. They don't deserve to just be put in there for your amusement. They're living creatures. Don't get me wrong, I love watching them and talking to them, and recording them and doing little shorts here and there. But yeah, it's they're just a lot of fun to have. um, I was a bit disappointed because last month we wanted to get some more guppies and some shrimp and stuff, but we ended up getting a red tail shark and a little mini blue-eyed albino. Problem is, the person where we brought it said the red tail shark is probably not very compatible with what we wanted to get, but unfortunately, fortunately, that's not been the case. Actually, the red tail shark has been very peaceful. I think the most aggressive thing in that tank is probably Snick, the golden algae. He's probably the most aggressive of the bunch. So maybe this month, maybe I'll get those guppies and some shrimp. Maybe at the end of the month, we'll see. They're not overly expensive. They're like £10 for like 5. So we've still got one guppy left in there, bless him. Unfortunately, Rudy passed away. Rest in peace. That's the little orange one. So I've only got the one guppy in there. But I think, as is with many fish, and like I said, I picked up a couple of books on Amazon. So I recommend these two books, the Tropical Aquarium Mini Encyclopedia and the Essential Tropical Fish Guide. And these are really sort of good reference guides that will just sort of give you a bunch of information about the fish, and just what their ideal temperaments, and just a small guide. It's a good handy book to have, especially if you're looking at getting this and fish, just sort of know what's compatible. And as the thing is with fish, there's never an easy, straightforward, oh, I can just buy this fish and have it. It's no longer like that anymore. You have to really know what you're getting into, and luckily I'm quite good at picking up on what sort of things. So, but the person said, if you got the red tail shark and he's been fine for a few weeks and that with the other fish that are in there, then chances are you've got a peaceful one. So they do actually get aggressive as they get older. Oh, there's a cat in my garden. Huh. Oh, a bushy cat. So I wondered what that was. But yeah, so that's what's going on with those guys. Obviously, since putting that bubbler filter in there, it's been fine. I know from this angle the tank doesn't look clean, but that's actually a good thing, believe it or not. If you've got a tank that's extremely clean and crisp, it's not good, believe it or not. Sometimes it's good to have a dirty tank. I do 2 water changes a week. I do on a Wednesday and a Saturday, unless they specifically need one. I normally do like maybe 3 buckets, 3 or 4 buckets, and it's a 10-litre bucket. And I normally do about 6-7 litres worth, because I can't carry the full 10 litres, unfortunately. So I've got a new gravel vacuum, and it works fucking amazing, surprisingly. Once I've figured out how to use it properly and get it working, I tend to do maybe 2 gravels to get up some dirt and crap and stuff like that. It says never get rid of all your substrate ever. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do a big clean. Unless you've got no fish in the tank and you're recycling it or restarting the tank. If all your fish died, then yes, maybe it's a good idea to completely recycle the tank and get a new setup going. But that's not the case. But everyone seems fine and happy. Gave Prancer a little pet this morning, so you're probably not going to be happy with me. They're loving the cucumber. Snitch loves his cucumber. But yeah, I've really grown to love the fish keeping. It's just a lot of fun. You know what? People say, oh, it's expensive. It's really not that expensive if you stock up on things. If you've got plenty of stock and you've got plenty of things. The fish themselves, there are some expensive ones out there. I went to a aquatics place, Maidenhead Aquatics, and they had a puffer fish for nearly £495. I thought, bloody hell, that's an expensive fish. Cool things, but I'm not spending that much on a fish. I think the max I'll ever spend on a fish would be like £10. When I say an individual fish, I think a red-tailed shark was like £6 something, and the albino was like 12, but that's because he's the blue-eyed one, so they're a bit more rare. But he's only a tiny little thing. I called him Killer with an A. But yeah, so I really enjoy having the fish. Just a lot of fun to just really enjoy them, and they're very helpful mentally, believe it or not. Having fish are really good mentally. I mean, physically the toll is quite tropical tanks are actually, believe it or not, harder than cold water. After speaking to my friend's dad about it, and he's got goldfish and giving me some advice on how he does things, and he said, I wanted to try tropical, but he said the problem with tropical is it's quite an in-depth thing. There's more to do with it, but as long as you keep them happy, monitor them, keep the water levels nice and done, know exactly what you're doing. A little bit of dirt, a little bit of a greenish tank is not bad, believe it or not. It's actually sometimes beneficial. I'm not talking pure green and you can't see nothing, that's different. But yeah, just thought I'd get that out of the way. As for what I've really been playing recently, well, I've been playing a little bit of things here and there, but before I get into that, I just want to start off by saying I was so disappointed by Samurai Warriors 1. This is one of the few Warriors games I've never played. And you know what? It's got some cool ideas. It really had some cool ideas that I wish they would have kept in maybe later games, like the mode where you can have your own character, which I'm going to try out because I've not actually tried that mode. So I'm going to give that one a go today. But the standard story mode I wasn't happy with. The game is very dark and it's got a weird sepia tone. It's very greenish and grey. It's not pleasant to look at. The characters seem quite slow. The objectives are really unfair, like how you're meant to do this objective and then get to the other side of the map to do another objective. I know, this is a mixed bag. Some people really enjoyed this one because it doesn't hold your hand. It's got a lot of, different branching paths. If you fail this, then you've got to try this, etc. So it did have some innovative things for the time, but for me personally, I wasn't a big fan of this one. I'm going to try out the new officer mode because I've tried it story mode with 2 characters and I wasn't overly happy on them. It's not the worst Warriors game I've ever played, but it's definitely up there with one of the most disappointing ones for me. Like I said, it's not even overly bad as a game. It just, if you're a fan of the Warriors games like I am, this just really sort of feels like it could have been a really good game, but it just seems very, it just doesn't have that great, yeah, I don't know. So I'm going to try out this the clan mode, the new officer mode, and see if that one, because some people said that mode is actually really good, but the standard story mode I wasn't overly happy with. So but Samurai Warriors 2 on the other hand, really enjoyed that one. I've played a few other games here and there, a bit of Road Trip. This is a really fun game, highly recommend it. It's like an open world RPG but with cars. You know, I always think this game sort of inspired the movie Cars, because it's literally about cars that are like people type thing. Very Japanese game. You know, it's part of the Churo Q series. You know, Penny Racers, that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, this is a really fun game. So I really highly recommend this one. I used to play this a lot as a kid, but lately I've sort of getting a bit burned out with video games. So maybe it's just I'm playing games and then I'm getting burned out. So maybe over this weekend I might just chill this weekend and maybe catch up with some TV and wrestling and stuff. Um, the other game that I started playing yesterday was Guitar Hero 3. This is probably my favourite of the Guitar Hero games. There's only 5 that you can play with the standard controller. You don't actually need the guitar. I know some people are like, well, what's the fucking point of that? Surprisingly, it's actually pretty fun. You know, it's like a rhythm game type thing. But the biggest problem with this one is the load times. The saving is ridiculous. Literally, it saves after everything. When I first booted the game up, I was like, it's not even loading. It just said checking memory card, and it took like 5 minutes for it to finally get through. And I'm like, that's seemed pretty long. I know PS2 wasn't the best for load times, but most games that I played with save features save within maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds max. So, you know, but this one, but I think it was actually a fuck up on Activision's part. I don't know about the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions, because the one that I used to play was on the Xbox 360, and I don't remember that being the case. But I think the PS2 version, just be aware that this has some very long load save load times. Yeah, save load times. Yeah, believe that. I again, maybe some copies are fine, but you know, I thought it was something wrong with the disc, but the disc is fine. I've been playing the game, the songs play fine, the game plays fine, but it's those load times, man. I started playing one on my phone, Guitar Flash. I remember used to play that on Facebook back on the day. But surprisingly, the mobile version's actually pretty fun. So yeah, that's mainly what I've been playing recently. You know, I've had to sell a few games here and there and stuff like that. So it seems like that's how it goes with me. I get a couple of games in and I have to sell them. But as long as I played them, I did play Max Payne. I'd never actually beaten Max Payne. I played bits and bobs of it. It's a really good game, but again, I got to the mission with the baseball bat. And then I just sort of gave up, because every single time I was just getting killed, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong here. There's a part where you have to jump on a train, and it's kind of counterintuitive, because you've got to jump on the train. So you press the jump button, and you completely miss. It doesn't actually tell you meant to dive into the front of the train as it's coming past. So literally, you have to clip inside the train as it's coming past. I'm like, it's just something about these old games, and there's certain things you have to do specifically to do it, and it's, I don't know. But it was a good game for its time, you know. But that one again had really bad load times. Literally, you move, like you clear out a room and then you have to load another screen. It's like literally you probably do like 2 minutes of actual gameplay, and then you have a bloody cutscene or a comic book cutscene. I know that's part of the game, and obviously it's a very, like I said, you know, the story in that game was you know, the start of the game. You know, oh my god, my this guy's son and or daughter and wife are dead. Like, it was a great story. It was very shocking for the time as well. But I know a remaster is apparently in the works. I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but I wouldn't put it past Rockstar, you know, because you know, Max Payne is well worthy of a remaster. You know, get rid of those long load times, and you know, maybe iron out a few of the wrinkles here and there, especially on the older 2 games. The third one was a lot of fun, actually. I remember playing the multiplayer back in the day on the Xbox 360, and it was surprisingly fun. But that's pretty much what I've been playing recently. Probably played a few other things here and there. Been catching up with some YouTube, watching people, you know, and stuff like that. Just doing the usual stuff. But like I said, just at the moment, there's just been a lot of things going on, and I don't really know where I stand at the moment with a few things. So I'm just sort of in that stage now where I'm just sort of like, I don't know, like maybe I sort of need to break a bit around a bit, and then sort of try to do something more with what I can do. Um, but anyway, I digress. I thought I'd just do a little update video. It's been a while since we've done one, but I'm gonna try out that other mode now on the Samurai Watch, just to say that I've tried it, you know, and then maybe play some more guitar here and there, and then probably just chill later on. Maybe I need to catch up on this week's wrestling. I heard the TNA NXT crossover was a mixed bag. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's awesome that we've actually finally had a TNA versus WWE official event. You know, it's crazy to think, you know, if you would have told me 10 years ago, oh my God, you know, TNA and WWE are going to team up now and they're going to have a TNA versus WWE, you know, I would have said, no, you're a fucking liar, mate. But it happened. Was it great? I don't know. I haven't watched it. I know some people said it was all right. Some people said it wasn't great. But me personally, even WrestlePalooza, I know a lot of people actually hated WrestlePalooza, and I watched it and I thought, you know, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. You know, it wasn't perfect or anything, but it was entertaining, I guess. Some of the matches were okay. But you know, the thing is with wrestling fans is they just nitpick the most stupidest things. You know, I'm not one of these people. You know, I can call out bullshit when I see bullshit. If I'm watching a wrestling pay-per-view and I'm like, this was kind of crappy, I'll pull that out. You know, there was a time when I stopped watching it. This was probably around about 20. I can't remember. It's like 2017, 2018. And I just gave up with WWE because it was just so predictable, so boring. But lately, I will admit, like, it brought me back in. Ever since it went to Netflix, I am watching the weekly shows and pay-per-views. Not live, sometimes I get a bit behind with them, but, you know, I've not really had anything bad to say. You know, there's been a few things here and there that I think, you know, I would have done differently, but you know, we've had a few shocks here and there, the whole John Cena heel turn and the return of Brock Lesnar. So there's been a few moments that have made me go, oh my God, you know, and that doesn't really happen with WWE a lot for me. But anyway, so that's that. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna go and try out this other mode on Samurai Warriors. Just give it a try. If it's shit, then I'll just move on. But anyway, guys, I will see you when I do another video. I don't know. But anyway, guys, have a nice day, and hope everyone's going all right for you. Let me know what you've been up to recently, what you've been playing. Let me know what fish do you have? Do you have any fish? And what is your favourite fish? For me, the albino plecos. I love plecos, so you know, and I can just see Snitch in the background. He's up to no good. Up to no good, ain't ya? Oh. Oh. Here she comes. No. But anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video.